Okay, welcome to today's weekly review. And today we're going to be reviewing chapter 2 of Attaining the Worlds Beyond. Francis and Dillis are in the studio, and we are going right to the heart of the subject of chapter 2.
Mhm.
Francis is going to kick off, and we are going to join and add to whatever Francis say, and we'll take it from there. Francis, over to you.
Thank you, Sheila. Yeah. Yeah. So this is another week that has come with us going deeper and deeper into this book. And shall I say, the more we read, the more one reads, the more exciting it becomes. And the more the wealth of this book is coming to the surface for me. I think one thing, as you said, our impressions. One thing that stood out so clearly for me this week reading this book is about how man restlessly searches his environment both within and without. Why does man go about searching his environment? And it turns out that one is searching just for one thing. Man is searching for only one thing, and that is his perception of the Creator. And among all the search we do, going to the moon, going everywhere, trying to get to Mars or whatever, or searching within ourselves, there is only one thing that is real, one yearning that is real, and that is the yearning to unify with the Creator or to connect with the Creator. So that really hit me very, very hard. And it's been on my mind the whole week. Delis, do you want to take it over?
Of course, Francis.
Mhm.
Yes, I mean, it starts off on that chapter, doesn't it, on true yearning.
Yeah.
And then it goes further, talking about the right and the left. But then to be able to
Mhm.
balance that, you have to come to the middle line. And that middle line takes you to the creator.
Mhm.
Interestingly enough, it then talks also about, of course, you have to constantly correct your your trajectory. It's not just
Okay.
this straight line, it's
Yeah.
constantly correcting the trajectory. And if you think that you're just going to be able to do it by yourself and not touch base whether you are caring for others, showing this altruistic qualities somehow in your environment, then you're going to digress. You're going to go off the path. So,
Mhm.
constantly, the feeling that I got is this wonderful inner journey that you're starting to embark on. And that's why, Francis, when you said about excitement, it's the excitement of finally starting to explore
Mhm.
how you are, how you differ from the Creator, and how
Okay.
you can start to move slowly forward towards the Creator
Amen.
through that concept of what the creator is, what God is, which is, I believe, love. You can say
Mhm.
that in any religion, any way you want to, but the issue
Yeah.
is of God being love and altruistic giving properties.
Mhm.
Um, and I was just thinking to myself, pondering before we came on, that of course being here in Africa, we very much from the cultures are very much from a religious type of background, from my perspective anyway,
Yes,
where I come
definitely.
from.
Yeah.
But that doesn't give me the ability, or hasn't given me the ability to really go on this quest
Mhm.
for finding the Creator. I know He's there. I would like to feel Him closer to me, not for my own doing only, but actually for for the purpose of attempting to be a loving being.
Mhm.
Yes, so I thought this chapter 2 about the spiritual path kind of starts to guide us a little bit in the right direction.
Mhm.
There's so much more to say about it. I think we've just literally started to touch on that first part about knowing that there's providence,
Mhm.
private for me, but also knowing that my actions might somehow influence. And yet I know the creator's everything. So it's this duality of knowing that I have to do something, yet
Yeah.
everything is kind of already in his hands or in the creator's hands. And
Mhm.
Sheila, over to you.
Okay, for me, everything you've just said, plus this definition of the soul, that we are souls, that we're
Mhm.
descended from the Creator, and we have this spark in us that connects us to the Creator.
Mhm.
But what I remember really got me was the fact that the purpose for the soul to descend here was made very clear,
Yeah.
that we were descended here for the purpose of attaining the quality of the Creator.
Mm.
And I remembered when I read that, I had to go back several times and read it
Mhm.
and put a mark on my book. But then it also said, Dr. Lightman said in this book that the soul is made up of 620 parts.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that got me going. I'm like,
Definitely. Mhm.
620 parts of the soul is inside me. What
Yeah.
does that
Yeah, yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And it defines these different parts as organs. And I'm like, well, I know my physical organs are kidney and all the
Mhm.
other bells. So what
Mm.
are these organs of
Mhm.
the soul and what are
Spiritual.
they meant to do? Because biologically, I can relate to organs in my body. But for
Mhm.
a soul to have 620 parts and it is known as organs, that got me going about this. And then
Mhm.
he went on to say that these organs are also known as spiritual laws.
Lost. Yeah.
And to the extent to which we come to begin to do those laws, we ascend in
Mm.
spiritual
Definitely. Yes.
essence. In
Mhm.
other words, a person has to be conscious that you are not just your body.
Mhm.
You are made up of soul, and your soul has 620 parts, which is
Mhm.
known as laws or mitzvah. And every time you do one of these mitzvah, you're effectively ascending. In other words, if you are overcoming these desires that are obstacles to the qualities of creation
Mhm.
itself and becoming closer to the Creator. And that for me was one of the biggest take home when I read
Mm.
chapter two.
Definitely. Mhm.
What
May
would
I interject,
yeah.
Francis and Sheila? Because, that stuck with me as well, but it blew my mind because
Mhm.
what I took from that 620 parts, which are the spiritual laws, I just thought to myself, well, I need to take this forward further in this book because there's
Mhm.
no way I actually know what these spiritual laws are.
Yeah.
Um, and there is a journey to be had here towards this kind of discovery of what's meant. But here's something that just popped into my mind. Mitzvah, I believe, has something to do with an action that you have to do
Yeah.
outwardly
Definitely.
towards someone. Yeah? In,
Mhm.
in this physical world, when they speak of mitzvah,
Yeah.
um, they're talking about an act of somehow a giving nature, a loving nature, caring nature, right? So I'm assuming, and it is an assumption that, and assumptions are the mother of all mess ups, they say, but it's an assumption that if there is some spiritual law or action, this means it's towards another. It's
Mhm.
outwards from myself. Again, coming up to that issue that mentioned here in this chapter about the altruistic matter that we
Mhm.
have to shift to. And there's a part that suddenly comes to mind. There was a paragraph where it says you have to replace your egoistic desires with altruistic desires. Because often we think, okay, we just have to, that ego, that self, we just cut it off, it's going to just be destroyed. There's no way you can do that. You have
Mhm.
to shift this desire into something else, a
Yeah.
desire to want to care for others. And
Yeah.
that touches on those lovely spiritual laws of 620, which we look forward to achieving.
Yeah.
Franz,
And,
over
and
to you.
also,
I
also,
interjected.
yeah, also how beautiful it is that as we pursue this path, as
Mm,
we journey towards unification with the Creator, the soul elevating all the desires to unify with the
mm,
Creator fills these organs, the 620 organs, with Himself or His light, right? And
yes.
that is what I mean. The light filling us is what brings us to become one with Him. We achieve that
Mm,
purpose of the Creator.
Okay, in the
Mhm.
interest of time,
Mhm.
just okay, because we're going to be wrapping up in 6 minutes. Let's go to the next because the book itself is loaded. So we are not going to complete chapter 2 today, by
Mm-hmm.
no stretch of
It's
imagination.
too much,
The
too deep.
idea is that we are going to keep talking about chapter 2 until the end of the month anyway. So
Definitely.
there will be
Oh,
more.
okay.
Yeah,
That's good
so
to know.
That's great.
yes, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. The chapter 1 was so long. We covered chapter 1 in two
Mm,
months. Chapter 2
mm,
is a bit shorter. We will cover this in
mm,
1 month because the author said
mm,
right from the
mm.
beginning that this is not a book to rush. This is a book that you need to read, digest, come back to, and then
Definitely.
read it and discuss and go back to. So we're never going to rush reading the book. So we're going to continue this conversation until the end of the month. Now, we talk about the book projects because we have 5 minutes. I have here books, and you probably have heard this before. So when you watch this, you will hear this said several times. There are books ready to go to Africa.
Mhm.
Please, I I always turn this
Mhm.
thing upside down for some reason. Please remember to send list of libraries in Africa,
Yeah,
public libraries, reputable libraries, where we can contact the librarians and send books, because some of you have asked,
Mm,
where would you get the book? You really want to read the physical copy of the book. And I've
definitely.
said to you, you can either go to Amazon.com and get it
Mhm.
and check the shipping cost, or we will be putting these books in each of the country in Africa, but we want the names of public libraries that we can send the books to. So that's the projects that we are running here.
Mhm.
With that said, before we wrap up, Francis, why should we send books to Africa? Why should we do this? And then
I think
Billy's your thoughts about this as well.
it's a privilege, for us to be here, even talking about doing a project like that. I feel like it's a privilege. And I feel like we've been positioned, we've been counted worthy to invest in the spiritual future of Africa. If we can get these books in sections, in a library, like university libraries, where people are thirsty and searching, we are investing in the spiritual future of our continent. Delis?
yeah, any book that comes onto the ground, into the hands of someone, we know that the light. I think the light shines everywhere, and any opportunity for us, each and every one of us, to grow within ourselves means that the whole of humanity is lifted up. That's the feeling I have. So, if we have the capacity to do this and have many people share and know a bit more about how and where are we moving towards, then that's just brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. For me, as I was growing up, books meant a lot to me. Education meant a lot to me. Education saved me.
Mm,
There is a proverb that says, the people perish because of lack of understanding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wisdom is application of knowledge correctly. You could have as much information and knowledge in this world. If you do not know how to apply it, it is not wisdom.
Definitely.
Wisdom is, and I want to repeat that again, wisdom is correct application of knowledge. A lot of times we have a lot of knowledge in our hands, but we do not know how to implement it. And it's a useless information because you're worse than the person who never got the information in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
This attaining the worlds beyond covers more than just what needs to be done. It goes into how, and that is
Yes,
why
it
it
does.
is so
Yes.
important. And the discussions we are having here are paramount to helping you understand the book. So these are all going to be resources when you come to read the book. The libraries will be pointed to these resources so that they will also review the books in conjunction with the conversation we are having here
Yeah.
today. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how important it is. This is seed for Africa to liberate from lack of understanding of the knowledge that is already there. Correct
Mm-hmm.
application of the knowledge. We
Knowledge.
need to
Mm-hmm.
attain wisdom. And with that said, we're going to close with the music. So I'm going to be 1 minute, 1 minute over. There is a lovely music by a friend, which we started off with last week, which I'm going to play.
Thank you for having me, ladies and
You're
gentlemen.
welcome. Thank you. Yes.
Now is the time to love everyone we find. The choice has been given to us to see the world with brand new eyes. Pray that we can do it for this new humanity. Find a way to feel it from the heart. Now is the time to love. With every breath we take, we journey to wholeness again and see the path behind every face. We pray that we can rise above the barriers we find and find a way to feel it from the heart. Like the day that everyone is waiting. Sometimes we don't realize how close love is. Open heart, the boundaries are fading. Together in love, the other.
Right.
Now is the time to love. Sing in harmony. Together with joy in our hearts. Above the space between the others and me. Sparks to a fire in this new reality. Find a way, feel it from the heart. Now is the time, gonna dance with love together. Time to unite, from shattered pieces into one home. We realize that there's a place where we can start to see. Love is the road to eternity. Now is the time.